When I was young, I always wanted my superpower to be flight, but now I definitely have a new favorite. The Boys episode 6 is here, and this has got to be one of my favorites so far, because what can go wrong at a psych ward filled with soups? In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the episode, the introduction of Lamplighter, and I have a crazy theory involving Stormfront, how she might actually be Homelander's mother, and I got another surprise you'll have to stick around till the end to find out about. So sit on down, grab a Fresca and delicious Brave Maeve bar, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because here we go. We begin 8 years in the past where Frenchie, Sherry, and Jay are doing drugs and discussing the importance of Golden Girls, the main theme of which plays at the end of the episode. One reason Frenchie loves the show so much is that
they made their own family.
Just like the boys will make their own family. Starlight gets her locator chip taken out. I'm curious how long Starlight can keep up this ruse of working with the boys. She now has this chip out, and Ashley has asked multiple times where the hell she is over the course of the episode.
Where the fuck is Starlight? Don't you dare tell me you haven't found Starlight yet.
And the love affair between Stormfront and Homelander continues as they share a romantic kiss while Homelander bashes a criminal's head in. Can we also just take a moment to admire the message he got her with the flowers? Thanks for a great day. He's trying, guys, okay? Starlight teams up with the boys and isn't exactly greeted by Butcher warmly. The last time they were together, he shot her way back in season 1, episode 7, and we know he has a hate-on for Soups. We'll see how he changes throughout the episode, eventually forming a bond with Starlight over their mutual love for Huey. She informs the boys about the emails she saw on Stormfront's computer last episode. Unlike the screen we saw then, where the sender's name was blurred out, we now know this was Stan Edgar, the head of Vought. Stormfront and Stan have been up to something at the Sage Grove Psychiatric Hospital, and the boys are going to find out what's up. We see this awesome ad for Brave Maeve bars, another satirical take on how companies market social justice, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it increases their profits. Last episode, she enlisted the help of the Deep, agreeing to help him get in the 7 if she helped him. But now we figure out what she really needed his help for, retrieving the black box from the downed airliner she and Homelander didn't save last season. He wasn't able to get the black box, but got something far more damning: actual GoPro footage a passenger took of the event. A-Train is still struggling with the fact he's been ousted from the 7. The Deep will use this to his advantage to recruit him to the Church of the Collective. After all,
anyone knows what it's like to get bounced, it's me.
And he offers him a delicious Fresca, the same thing the Deep was offered before he was recruited. The boys scope out the facility with Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Kimiko set to infiltrate. But before we head in, we get another Frenchie flashback where he's blackmailed into joining the boys by Grace Mallory. Either he joins, or his friends Sherry and Jay go to jail. Frenchie has a history of finding creative ways to deal with Soups, something Grace wants to use him for. We'll later see him implement these skills as he constructs a bomb using the materials found in the ward's supply room. Stormfront tells Homelander that she can't hang out with him because she has a meeting with her social team, something Homelander finds out is a lie when he visits Vought Tower and she's not there. We'll find out Stormfront is actually checking in on the test subjects at Sage Grove, but more on that in a bit. As Starlight helps the boys gain access to the facility, Butcher's scope is on her. He really hates Soups, and no wonder considering all the pain they've caused him his entire life. Starlight calls him out on this.
You're just a bigot and a bully. I know another guy just like that. He's got a flag for a cape.
This is probably the worst thing you could tell Butcher, since there's no one on the planet he hates more than Homelander. The boys gain access to the security room where they see a wide array of captive Soups, like Teleport Guy, Really Small Guy, Guy Who Punches Wall, and Guy with Enormous Dick. His name in the credits is Love Sausage. Frenchie goes absolutely ballistic when he finds out Lamplighter is working here. Lamplighter was a former member of the 7 who burned Grace Mallory's grandchildren. The public doesn't know this, however. There's a short scene where Stormfront sees the progress one of the Soups is making. However, when he gets out of line and wants to see his sister, he's incinerated by Lamplighter. This is our first time really seeing Lamplighter's power, and it seems he can't conjure fire out of thin air, rather manipulates it, hence why he always carries around his lighter. While passing Lamplighter in the hall, I was totally getting an Umbrella Academy vibe. Frenchie can't contain himself and the two fight, Lamplighter accidentally blowing the door to Cindy's cell, or as I like to call her, Grown-Up 11. Along with being impenetrable to bullets, Cindy can crush objects with her mind. She crushes the head of a guard, just like Raynor was killed a few episodes ago, and opens all the cell doors, letting the other supes run wild. In my episode 5 video, we learned that Lamplighter was talking about a super who felt bad about something she did. This was Cindy, who was tasked with exploding Raynor's head under Stormfront's orders. We don't get to know much about her character this episode, but the fact the show ends with her hitchhiking, this likely won't be the last time we see her. A random supe blasts Butcher, Starlight, and Huey. Huey's injured by a piece of shrapnel, which Starlight can't cauterize because her power requires a nearby energy source. And in retaliation for lying to him, Homelander burns down Stormfront's trailer. She senses something wrong with him, but it won't be until the end of the episode until she reveals why exactly she lied. The Deep has brought A-Train to Alistair Adana, the head of the Church of the Collective, and A-Train isn't really about this.
I've seen that documentary about you guys. It's not my type of shit.
A reference to the church being like Scientology, but Alistair blackmails A-Train, telling him it's in his best interest if he were to hear him out. He knows about A-Train's heart condition, abuse of Compound V, and 7-figure debt. If A-Train joins the church, they'll have 2 members in the 7, so obviously Alistair Adana has some hidden plans that aren't exactly known yet. Holed up in the storage room, we learned more about Lamplighter and Frenchie's past. 5 years ago, Lamplighter was blackmailed by the boys for some incriminating photos. We aren't exactly sure what they are, just that Grace Mallory says he looks good in whatever he's wearing. In return for their silence, Lamplighter will tell them everything he sees and hears in Vought Tower. Starlight ends up killing a man when their attempt to take over a car goes wrong. She finds a baby seat in the back and tells Butcher,
Maybe once I would have cried over him, but now he was just another person in our way.
She's earning Butcher's respect, but she makes sure to remark,
We're nothing alike. Nothing.
Lamplighter, Frenchie, and Kimiko are all characters who feel they need to be punished with the guilt they hold on to. We find out Lamplighter attempted to kill Grace Mallory in her sleep, but instead burned her grandchildren who were unknowingly to him in that bed. Frenchie was supposed to be tailing him, but that night ran to the aid of his friend Jay, who was ODing, only to leave Jay and Sherry in their time of need, and in the process showing up too late to save the burning children. This may explain why Sherry was so easily willing to offer Kimiko jobs to the Albanians when she knew full well Frenchie would hate that. Also fun to notice is what appears to be a movie premiere for a Lamplighter film called Light and Shadow: Journey into Night. Kimiko too feels responsible for the death of her brother, and in this way both Kimiko and Frenchie are two souls struggling with guilt. Frenchie could have told the boys the truth about what happened that night years ago to explain how he let those children die, but he didn't. He didn't because he feels he needs to be punished.
What makes you think I want to be let off the hook?
Lamplighter tells them that Vought is using this facility to test Compound V's stability. It has a high success rate in infants, hence why supes like Starlight, the Deep, Kimiko, and Kenji were given it at a young age, but its effects on adults vary wildly. In order to stabilize it, they'll need test subjects. Beyond that, Lamplighter doesn't know Vought or Stormfront's motivation behind it, simply that he is there to literally burn the evidence. Huey's brought to the hospital, and just enjoy this Maeve Be a Hero Donate Blood poster. The docs say Huey will need a few days to recover, and it's here Starlight and Butcher bond over their mutual love for Huey.
Never gives up on you, does he?
And he follows you around like a right little pup.
These two are definitely making some progress. Elena finds the footage of Maeve and Homelander and the plane crash, and I don't think anything Maeve can say will salvage this relationship. Even though Maeve was using this footage to save them from Homelander, she's still complicit in the murder of those civilians, something Elena will likely never forgive her for. Frenchie tells Kimiko he'll leave her alone. He's realized no one can absolve him of his sins, and has realized where Kimiko is coming from with her brother. I honestly thought they might even kiss here, or that Kimiko might try to say something, but I think the next step for these two is Kimiko opening up and teaching Frenchie her secret sign language. Grace arrives, finally able to take revenge on the man who murdered her grandchildren, but Frenchie begs her to spare his life.
It won't help you. All you've been doing is ending his torment.
The question then is, what's to become of Lamplighter? Will he help the boys as penance for his past misdeeds? Love the attention to detail here as we see the scaffolding in Stormfront's apartment to repair it from all the crazy sex she and Homelander had. To regain Homelander's trust, she tells the truth about who she really is. In her chest, we see her Liberty costume, and she shows him a bunch of photos. One of Frederick Vought with Goebbels and Himmler, two Nazi war criminals. Stormfront goes on to say Vought was the most powerful man in that room. Stormfront was born in 1919 in Berlin, later marrying Vought and having a daughter, Chloe, who grew old and died of Alzheimer's. She was Frederick's first successful V-injection. Hear me out here, but we have a few pieces of info that point to Stormfront being Jewish. We know Frederick Vought performed his Compound V experiments in Dachau, a concentration camp during World War II. The actress who plays Stormfront is Jewish. Maybe the show is just subverting expectations by casting someone who is Jewish as a neo-Nazi, but I can't help but think that Frederick was the one who changed her, not just physically with superpowers, but also via brainwashing. The other crazy theory I have, and I thought this was where the episode might have ended, is that Stormfront could possibly be Homelander's mother. In episode 4, we learned that Liberty disappeared in 1979, which lines up with the estimated year Homelander was born. We also know that Homelander grew up in a lab without a mother and that, quote, Vaught's genius made him. This would also line up with Homelander's sexual need for a mother-like figure and would be such a crazy reveal that it would put Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia's kiss to shame. It's so crazy that I wouldn't put it past this show to do it. But leave me your thoughts and theories in the comments. Stormfront tells Homelander her plan to create an army of supes to fight what she calls a culture war.
We are in a war for the culture. The other races are grinding us down and taking what is rightfully ours, but we can fight back.
She tells Homelander that he will be the one who leads them to this new destiny. And they kiss passionately. It seems like he's on board. But what I'm still scratching my noggin on is why Stan Edgar, the head of Vought and a black man, would agree to such a scheme. He obviously knows about the test subjects since he was sending Stormfront emails. What's going on? Has he been brainwashed too by some sort of Compound V? Does he have an ulterior motive he hasn't divulged to Stormfront yet? And how does Stormfront going missing for 40 years play into all this? I'm hoping we'll get more answers next episode, but until next time, make sure to like and subscribe and comment below what you thought of the app. For more bad takes, you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
Daddy's home.